Okay, I'm back again. This time I'm going to talk about ZIIGAAT NUO. These bad boys are 29 bucks, but you can get them on sale for a bit less. The 10mm LCP, liquid crystal polymer, if you're not familiar with what that means or what it stands for, but it's just marketing speak. There you go. This is the first in the, according to the Linsol website, the Plus series. I don't know if it's a typo or it's supposed to be spelled that way, but P-L-U-S-E series. Plus. Anyway, ZIIGAAT is an OEM, ODM over 10 years. They've been doing this. I can't help, but when I say that word, it automatically does that. I'm sorry. Anyway, ZIIGAAT! I'm gonna stop. I'll stop. Zero in on ideas. This is what it means, by the way. Zero in on ideas. There's the ZII. Or maybe not. The next one is innovate. Okay, so there's two I's there. The next one is grow and achieve all together. Right, this probably means more to them internally, their design and philosophy, than it does to you and me, but that's where the ZIIGAAT came from. Their mission statement was quite interesting if you read it on their thing, to harness the synergy of technology and music. Again, it's more for them to, you know, this is my mission statement, but how did that translate to sound? That's an excellent question, isn't it, Monk? I like the set quite a lot. Again, one of these first sets that I put the stock cable on, which is quite lovely. And before I burn this in, I did some initial thoughts and wrote down some impressions, and I thought this cable was too bright, but it wasn't the cable, it was the IM that needed to burn in a little bit to get its mellow out. So I will say that this supplied 3.5mm cable, single-ended, is one of the loveliest included free cables in the box. That being said, after you burn it in, switch to something else. Not that it's a bad cable, but that it's, and I'll talk about sound impressions here. So the bass, and this is me now switching over to, so I'm using this configuration. This is the NUO. I did kind of skip over a bunch of things, didn't I? So let's talk about the NUO for a second. Now, one thing that screws me up on this set with the ZIIGAAT, I'm sorry, is that the shell shape is lovely. Absolutely lovely. It's smaller. It should fit into most people's ears. And I'll show you something that I do that I found. The nozzle is great. It's at the right angle. I know I talk about this, and that makes a big difference. Unlike that KZ PR3. So when it goes in your ear, I find what I do, and I'm using the Oslo crystal tip, is I go there and then I actually just twist it a little bit to get it in place. And when I do that, it's like ear lock. Absolutely fantastic and super comfortable. It's a great shell design and shape. Wonderful. Thank you for putting left and right on there, because as you know from watching my channel, I'm an idiot when it comes to that. And what threw me off, though, was typically you have the brand name on the left and the model on the right. Well, in this case, NUO is left and ZIIGAAT is on the right. So there you go. Some fun facts for today. Anyway, let's talk about the bass. The bass has a really nice graph. Gentle glide into the mid bass. It flattens out into the mids. And and another gentle glide up into the highs. I'm really digging this new tuning, flatter tuning, more so than V tunings. I picked up a The Audio Oracle yesterday as well, and loving that. The rise into the highs is also nice. The fact it's not above 8 decibels. It's not a huge pinna gain and pinna rise. Thank you. The dip at 6 to 7K for a sibilance dip, for people who are treble sensitive in that area, it is a wondrous, wondrous thing. I find in that little sibilance dip at 6 to 7K that you can turn up volume a little bit more, play it at a little bit more higher volumes without any harshness or splashiness or sibilance in there. It's really, really well done. Because this is a single dynamic driver, I find it has great tonality as well. And then there's still, actually, what makes the set in the single dynamic quite interesting is there's still quite a bit of energy from 9 to 12K. And some of that it's hard to graph, but you can hear it, and before falling off quite normally. If we look at this paper graph, there's 0 complaints to look at it. I mean, and I wrote again in big, huge letters just to know that it was super comfy. One thing to note on the NUO is it's 32 ohms at 107 dB. So that kind of means also that it is a little bit harder to drive. So if you're going to try and drive this off a phone, don't think you're going to get the most out of it. I think at the very least, you'll need a dongle. So after my cable swap with something with some more silver in it, and that's what I'd recommend, an SPC cable, maybe in a balanced if you can, again, to get a little bit more power to it. And maybe that was the difference in sound quality from the stock cable to an aftermarket cable, because I could put more juice to it. Adrift in Ether, just some sound impressions by Joop Beeving. This NUO is actually resolving enough to hear the piano strings with the mic on the back of the grand piano. So he has 2 mics, obviously, one with the keys and one at the back of the piano. Hani Arani does this as well, and if you got an IEM that actually is resolving enough, you can actually pick it up and enjoy both of the mics, where the piano keys and the other mic on the back of the piano strings, and it did it quite well. So that was a 2 thumbs up for the NUO. Bass hits on Aussie, like Patient Number 9 at the beginning. It hits hard and it hits fast. And I just loved this kind of tuning where it is very balanced in the mix. So it's not over bassy and it's not under bass. It was very nice for rock, absolutely. When I talk about vocals, I think in this song too, very organic and very natural. I love dynamic drivers very much. For instance, like London Grammar, and again, I love the vocals, so nice, and the details were very, very nice. This is a under $30 IEM. Shouldn't be performing at this level. There's no way. Halsey and Ghost, 1 mic, 1 take. An excellent recording. Brutally. If you have an IM that sometimes this track is unlistenable because it doesn't. This is a very forgiving IM. This is what I'm trying to say. So, and this track is very unforgiving. The way it's recorded, so it's laid bare in your soul. Sometimes this track rips your soul out, and sometimes it just makes you love it. And this is one of those cases. It's great vocals, piano, what I'm listening for in this track is very balanced. What I do find, though, is just missing a little touch of the weight of the piano to make it perfect. I mean, I think it's 90% of the way there, but then you look to price to performance ratio and it's totally forgiven, right? I mean, I'm being super picky here. When you have beside you $3,000-$4,000 IEMs that are super, that's my comparison, right? So, I mean, once you have, and I've noticed this more and more within even our group, is we become snobs. From when you hear something truly exceptional, it's you kind of trickle it down to everything else that you listen to, and you can't help but be biased towards the best that you've heard versus what you're hearing now. It's impossible. So when I'm being super critical and picky like this, take that into consideration, right? I mean, if I'm saying it hits 90% of the perfect pitch tonality, that's a huge, right? Highs are really nice. They're smooth. Again, I'll say I really like this kind of very neutral balance tuning. I really do. The RTR1 also, for me, was also like this, again, but that's also triple dynamic at 3 times this price. Or the NUO had really nice upper mid energy, no big spikes, nothing there, weirdness. It's super nice and balanced in the mix. Great for rock. Enough energy for a fun, energetic mix without harshness or sibilance, for sure. Is this NUO the most technical or resolving or best stage set that I have heard? Nope, not at all. Again, go back to that earlier statement I just made. How would I describe the NUO? Sum it up here. How would I describe the NUO? Overall, a slightly colored, balanced presentation. This should really work for most genres as an all-rounder. It's unoffensive to most people, I think, while appealing to most at the same time. Bass heads aren't going to love this set, and treble heads aren't going to love this set, but the rest of people are going to absolutely love this set, and especially going to love it at its price point. That's for sure. Super excited. We're also getting in our group the ZIIGAAT as well, and I'm just super excited that if they can do this in a sub $100 set, in this case 29 bucks or less, what is the ZIIGAAT going to bring to the table, right? One dynamic with their tuning. So it has me super excited. Again, I will tell you that this is not the most technical set. The stage is kind of just average. It's still quite intimate, not exactly 3D. But again, I'm not... it for the price point, it absolutely is average across the board, not stand out, but it's super enjoyable nonetheless. And me being a super stage lover, I had still no complaints. So this is a Tone Deaf Monk. Thank you for watching, and I love you all. Cheers.